at another episode of Line for Line Podcast, presenting to you Barely Watched Podcast. And we have Mr. Lester Wiltfong in the Jr. Oh my, we have Mr. Lester Wiltfong Jr. in the building today. Lester, how you feeling?
I'm doing good, man. It's a beautiful day in the Midwest. Those Los Angeles Rams are still in LA. They'll be flying out tonight. So good for them for waiting for the last minute to come to Chicago.
It's crazy that Barely Watched is still rolling right now, Lester. I remember texting you after the game. I said, Barely Watched lives on.
Yes, yeah. I mean it's good to see the Bears still winning. I look, they're ahead of schedule, right? I mean, no one thought they'd be in this spot, but
Hmm.
look, everyone says, "Oh, they're playing with house money." That's what everyone says. Look, if you're playing with house money, you can still go all in. You can still bet it all, and then that's where the Bears are. They're in a place where they can keep this rolling. I mean, like we said earlier, it's like, why not the Bears, right? I mean, there's no juggernaut team. The Rams, we both thought were probably the best team in the league, but I mean, they've shown some kinks in the armor too. So let the better team win on Sunday night.
I've said this time and time again, Lester. The Carolina Panthers were one of the first teams to really expose the Rams and how to beat them and that they can be beaten. Because all year we did hear, oh, the Rams are the best team in the league. No, the Rams are unstoppable. They're this juggernaut. But then the Panthers showed if we can frazzle Matthew Stafford, get him to make those mistakes, which is turnovers, stop their run game, you can win this game. And if you want to be honest, they almost won their playoff game against them. They rallied from behind. They obviously just ran out of time and had a key drop. Like that game could have went either way.
I mean, it was a fun game too. I mean, I know Bears fans. We of course we love watching our Bears come back, but the Rams came back too. They were
Hmm.
losing that game, and then the Matthew Stafford pass with I think 38 seconds left gave them the go ahead touchdown. But yeah, I mean, they were right there. Everyone thought, oh, the Panthers are terrible. Why are they even in the playoffs? They have a losing record. The Rams are going to kill them, and that's not what
Hmm.
happened. I mean, it's on any given Sunday you got to play football. The Rams are beatable. I mean, that's something I think that's been shown. The Falcons beat them, toward the end of the year. So,
Hmm.
anything can happen. I think the Bears are playing pretty good football right now. That's two very good, well coached teams. It's gonna be fun. And like I said, man, I didn't think about the weather much from the LA perspective, but my physical trainer, I was talking my physical therapist, she was telling me, she's like, why don't they fly out early? It's bad for your lungs. Like when you get into cold weather for the first time, your lungs aren't acclimated to it. I never really thought of it that way, but yeah, I mean those Ram guys are going to be freezing their butts off out there.
Yeah, I totally. I'm not. I'm just the type. I'm not gonna hang my hat on that. Like you see the stats. Matthew Stafford in
Oh yeah,
cold
yeah,
games like this, he's 1-8. Like, come on, man. Like, I really don't pay attention to stuff like that. They're equipped. These are adults out there. They're professionals.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they don't mind playing in the cold. Yeah, it may suck, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the same if they were cold or if they were in the dome at home.
Yeah, the only difference is at some point your body does tell you, okay, man, I ain't dealing with this crap anymore. So I mean, if the Bears can stick it to them early,
Hmm.
maybe that happens. But if it's close going down to the wire, I mean, who knows? Like I said, both the teams had to come back to win their wild card rounds. I like watching the Rams. That's a fun team to watch. Puka Nacua is one of my favorite non-Bear players to watch. It's
Hmm.
just a very very good, well coached team, and we'll see what happens on
Yes,
Sunday.
sir. Speaking of barely watch still going, Lester, let's take it back to that wild card round where we faced the Packers and we got shut out the first three quarters. What were some thoughts that were going through your head, Lester, watching the Bears play the Packers that game?
So I have an article that I do every day after the game. I kind of look over the stats and the snap counts, and I kind of just do it up. And I'll be honest, like about the third quarter, I started writing early. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna write my lead for this.
Hmm.
This is gonna be a loss. I want to get ahead of this early. So I started writing up off like Bear season came to an end. Unfortunate that it happened. And then as the game started going on, I'm like, okay, let me just put this down for a minute. And it just kind of, they kept coming back. So of course I had to change the article around. But yeah, I mean, it was,
Yeah.
look, did I think they had a chance? Of course. I mean, we've seen them do it, six times during the regular season. But, playoffs are a different animal. And we didn't know how they'd react in that moment until we saw that moment. But now we have
At what
playoff comeback. It looks beautiful.
at what point, Lester, as Bear fans, stop hanging our hats on the fourth quarter comeback and actually want to see successful drives, red zone trips, and scoring.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it. Obviously, that's part of the growth of the offense, part of the growth of Caleb and even Ben as a head coach slash play caller. But what do they keep saying? Oh, it's not sustainable. You know, they've said that 7 times this year. It's not sustainable. It's not. They keep doing it. It's the same thing with the turnovers. Oh, they can't win a game without a turnover. Well, against the Packers, they did not get one turnover. The
Hmm.
Packers fumbled 4 times. All four of those bounces went back into the Packers' hands. So the Bears came back again, okay, bucking that trend where like they can't keep doing it. Well, they did. And well, they can't win unless they get turnovers. Well, they got no turnovers against the Packers. In fact, they turned it over twice. And then they still won that game. So, like I said, man, this is not the same old Bears.
Speaking of one of those turnovers, though, that was a great business decision by Caleb because that was a fourth down interception. So
Yeah.
you actually put them further back in position with that
Yeah.
interception. People on the sideline like, why would he catch that? Why would he catch that? You know?
It's hard for a defensive back, man. You see the ball coming at you, you got to catch it. No, but that's Caleb, right? It's a fourth down. He knew it didn't matter what happened. That was a miscommunication. Burden was supposed to run the deep in route there. Burden saw it differently. During the game, Caleb told him about it. After the game, I'm sure they talked. Ben Johnson talked about it also in this post game presser. So it happens. Rookie receiver and your quarterback not on the same page not a big deal. It's the same with the other pick. The other pick was on fourth down. So like they're going for it on fourth down. You may as well, try and force it in there. That's one thing about Caleb that's kind of people don't think about is he's smart with the ball and knowing when he can and when he can't do things.
Hmm.
He did this at USC too with he took sacks at USC, obviously he did it with Chicago. Sometimes taking a sack is not a big deal. Sometimes throwing a pick's not a big deal. What's the situation? Are you giving up field goal range on third down? Yeah, that's not a sack you want to take. But
Hmm.
if you're deep in your own territory, if it's third down, you take a sack. Who cares? You're punting anyway. So he tries to scramble, make a play, and the same with those two fourth down interceptions. Throw it up, man. Try and make a play if you can, and if it's picked or if it's incomplete, what's the difference? You're going to turn the ball over anyway.
Of course. As they were coming back, Lester, what were some things that you were saying and thinking that they were doing well to come and rally from behind?
I mean, to me, the key in that second half was the run defense. I think they allowed 6 yards on 7 carries in the entire second half to the Packers. Who Josh Jacobs is a good running back. The
Hmm.
Packers are a good running team. They have a good offensive line. But the Bears shut that down and made them one dimensional. And look, even though Jordan Love's a good quarterback, if you can't do one thing and you're forced to pass, odds are you make some mistakes. And he had a stretch where he was really bad. And towards the end of the game, Corey Wooten, ex-Bears defensive end, was on one of our podcasts earlier this week, and he said a big key that he noticed was how physical the defensive backs were.
Hmm.
Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson, Shawnee Wright, those guys are getting really physical with the Packer receivers, bumping them off their routes, throwing off the timing. So again, that helps the pass rush get home too, because they had, I think, 13 pressures in the second half between
Hmm.
Sweat and Booker. So the defense stepped up. Dennis Allen, he kind of got pantsed early, but again, we've seen them do it all year. They made those halftime adjustments that came out, and they flipped the script.
Of course. Of course. Now, like you said, the defense did have to rally from behind, but my thing is, they were going at Kyler Gordon, Lester. I don't know if you were paying attention, but they were going at him.
Yeah,
What will be different about this game and Kyler Gordon's role on the field?
we kind of saw as the game wore on. I mentioned how he got more physical. I think that's what he'll have to do because he's not back all the way right from that
Mhm.
injury, the groin injury. It affects him a little bit. But the one thing I'll say this week, he was not on the injury report the whole week, so
Mhm.
he's feeling better. Right, he's getting a little better. He's feeling a little more quicker, and we may not see the best of Kyler Gordon until next year. We had a chance to really let that groin rest.
Mhm.
So I think you may see him get a little more physical. DJ is back this week, so now you can rotate a little bit of stuff there with that nickel if you want to.
Mhm.
He's another good physical player in the run game. He kind of plays that same role that Gordon does. So you may kind of see them rotate a bit. We saw last week they didn't play Gordon until late. Like he kind of took off the early parts of the game,
Mhm.
and I think that's because they wanted to kind of save him as a pitch count thing because they wanted to make sure he was fine. But this game's going to be cold. Those injuries have it sent. They may tighten up on him a little bit. So keep him warm on those sidelines so he's ready to go the full game.
Of course, of course. Now, Lester, we know that there's several things the Bears have to do. My biggest things is time of possession. There's no way you could win if the other team has the ball for 19 minutes compared to your 9.
Yeah.
Run the ball, like establish the run, get that run game going, open up the play action, and make sure you use your linemen. What are some things that you think the Bears have to be good at to win this game?
Yeah, I love that. It's a good script. I mean, it's like we talked about at the top, man. It's going to be wind chill's going to be in the single digits and even lower. It's going to be sub-zero temperatures out there. Keep Matthew Stafford and that explosive Rams offense on the sideline. And how do you do
Mhm,
that? You do it by running the ball, eating the clock. Long drives. Look, if the Bears get a chance to make an explosive, we've seen them all year. They'll take it. But if it's not there, don't force it. Um, Dink and dunk a little bit. I think you may see the quick passing game part of the game plan a little bit more this week, kind of as an extension of that running game.
mhm,
We may see some of those screens. I thought it was nice that the Bears hit that DJ Moore touchdown off a fake screen, a fake bubble on
mhm,
the side there. Because now it's one of those things. Now the Rams like, oh man, we got to be ready for the fake screen because now they're go, so they can't be so quick to come up and
mhm.
attack the screener because now they know the Bears have shown that. So again, it's all part of Ben Johnson's scheme. They showed that. So now that it might help open up the screen game a little bit. So screens, run the ball, inside zone, outside zone. You got Monungai, you got Swift, kind of both doing their thing back there. And maybe we see some RPOs from Caleb this week. We haven't seen a lot of that this season from him. But
Mhm.
again, if you want to keep the chains moving, you want to run the ball, get your quarterback involved in that as well.
Of course. How far behind do they have to be, Lester, the Bears, before you say, "That I think the comeback story is done," or are you never gonna not count them out from coming back?
I mean, they came back from 21-3 in this one, so it's like the third best, the third largest comeback in postseason history, right? So I mean, you can't count them out, man. I mean, you can't count them out. And look, I don't think they're going to be to the point where they're going to get blown out again, just because it's a different team now. I mean, look, the Lions got them early in the year, like they dropped 50 on them. That's not
Mhm.
happening in the playoffs. So I think they'll be okay. I think it'll be a close game. I think this is going to be a game where like I said, either team can win. I won't be surprised, but I think it will be a close game, and one team will have to come back at the end.
So, what it sounds like, Lester, is you're saying that the Rams are gonna win this one.
Early this week, I did a radio spot and I picked the Rams, right? But then as the week went on, the more I looked at the numbers, the more I looked at some of the other stuff going on, I just can't pick against the Bears, man. I think they got a good chance to win this game. I think they're going to win a close one. They're at home. Soldier Field was rocking. Last week I
Mhm,
know of some people that were at the game, and then they said it's season ticket holders. They said they've never heard it that loud.
mhm.
This city is alive for Caleb Williams, for Ben Johnson, for the Chicago Bears. And I just think they're going to find a way to pull it out again. And look, it's going to be close. The Rams are a very good, very well coached team. But I kind of think the Bears enjoy this identity that teams around the league are trying to hate them. Like, how dare they swear? Oh, how dare that handshake wasn't very respectful? I think they're trying to enjoy this.
Mhm.
The whole anti Caleb thing that's going around. I mean, there's still people that are still just mad at him for who he is and where he's at. And I just think they're, as a team, they're embracing it. Us against the world mentality. I think that's going to be enough to kind of push them over the edge.
And if you had to say the score, Lester, what do you think the final score should be?
Let's go. Let's go. 27-24 Bears.
Nice. I like it. Here's my thing, Lester. I was kind of nervous. I will admit about them playing the Packers. Not because I thought the Packers were just a superb team or that much better, but it would have just stung that much more to
Yeah,
be eliminated by the Packers, and have to deal with all the Packer fans and their
yeah.
talk and all that. I can honestly say I'm not worried about the Rams. I think the Bears should go out and play a complete game. You'll see some scoring in the other quarters outside the fourth. I think the Bears win it 34-14.
You got a blowout for the Bears?
I mean, I wouldn't really say that it's a blowout, but I mean, if them scoring 2 touchdowns is a blowout, I would
34. I
it's a
like
blowout.
it. I mean,
It's a
look,
blowout.
I wouldn't be surprised. Look, I said it's the weather will be a factor. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be sloppy field, and I think the Bears' offensive line is equipped to run the ball and kind of chew up some clock. Look, the Rams are a very good team. So I know Bears
Mhm.
fans or some fans looking past this. That's look. Don't be surprised. It's gonna go either way or the other. But yeah, I'd be down for that. And then with the Seattle Seahawks and the Niners, Seattle's having some issues with quarterback, so maybe the Niners pull off that upset, and then it's NFC Championship in Chicago next week.
Yeah, I got the Niners winning that one as well too. I just think that they'll outlast the 49ers. And if we're going like, listen, I don't listen to what the internet says, but it's just been so much of a weird season that I kinda do believe it, like, that it's written in stone for it to be either the Patriots or the Broncos versus the Bears in the Super Bowl. And I think that if the Bears can get past the Rams, why can't they go all the way?
Yeah, I mean, we saw them hang with the Niners in San Fran. If you get those guys in Chicago, it's a way different story.
Mhm.
Again, look, the Rams are high scoring, just like the Niners were, and the Bears hung with them. So I think the Bears will hang. Being in Chicago is going to help. They'll kind of use the what they've done these last few weeks, kind of help them guide them with the game plan. Like you said, run the ball, short
Mhm.
passing game, defense opportunistic. Look, the Rams are going to get theirs, man. You can't stop Nakua and Adams and Stafford and those guys, but Bears a good football team, man. It's they're one of eight left standing, so it's good.
They're not the same team that we're used to anymore,
Yes, yes,
Lester.
yes.
It should be a new game. Well, like I said, it should be an interesting game. I look forward to it. I'm kind of on the sadder side. That's on the later side of the day because I'm an old man. I like to be in
Oh,
bed
come on. You're already in
early.
bed. Look at your blanket there,
I
ready to take a nap after the show, man.
man, it's cold. I am ready for a nap too. Like I said, I'm old. But yeah, so like I said, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first on Barely Watch Podcast. I'm your host with the most, Devon Booker. That's been Lester Wiltfong Jr. Lester, we greatly appreciate some time from you.
Let's go.
All right, young man.